I'm good.
Too. So, Father, when did you guys, as the institution, kind of learn about this situation?
That's actually a good question. I think it was about 3 weeks ago.
Okay. How did it come to you guys? Did somebody report this? How did you learn of it?
Right. So yes, we did. There was a report. We immediately started an investigation. Found out that there was an alcohol-related incident, and decided to take it through our judicial system.
Okay. And what goes into the? Did you talk to the players? Did you get witnesses? What goes into making sure that this actually happened?
Right. So yes, we brought the team together. I personally had a conversation with the team to let them know the process, asked them to cooperate. They did. It's a full investigation, so we have an investigator that took statements from anybody who was at the event, and then that goes to a judicial board. They read all that, they interview all the students again, the board does, and then there's a decision rendered.
Okay. Is it this is your decision? This wasn't something that the conference made you guys do? Is this going to be something based on your policy that had to happen?
This is 100% the decision from St. Norbert College, okay, and the judicial board.
Okay. Was there I know that there was several players involved. Was it so many that the possibility of suspending them and still being able to play wasn't possible because there just wasn't going to be enough players?
Exactly. We should be clear that not all the players were involved, but when the players that were involved were suspended, we couldn't field a team.
Okay. How tough of a situation is this for obviously not just the university, but a program that's been really successful here in the past to have this all kind of happen? It has to be, I'd imagine, pretty darn disappointing.
I think we're all a little heartbroken. The players and students are certainly feeling disappointed, but they've learned. They have all said clearly, we get this now, we have learned, time to regroup and move on. Parents are disappointed, the school's disappointed, obviously our athletic department's disappointed, but it's about helping our students learn from these incidents and regrouping.
Has everybody been when you mentioned the parents and the players, have they been understanding of this decision, or did somebody try to at least, hey, can we do this or that, and maybe not have to miss 10 games?
Well, first of all, the decision's new. This was just decided this morning, so we wanted to get word out very, very quickly. But up to this point, the families as well as the students have said, we understand that we need to be careful. We need to use this as a learning experience, and it's time to move on. Understanding that there were likely to be consequences from a very long board hearing.
Father, I know you said this was obviously alcohol related. Was there anything specific, or was it just players and kids getting caught drinking?
So yeah, I can't get into too many of the specifics because of confidentiality, but basically that's it, right? Just a concern when our students are drinking. Certainly, our athletes who say they won't do that, and any time that there's a potential for a dangerous situation, we want to stop that long before we have to start worrying about some kind of physical or emotional injury.
Are you happy with the way you guys handled this? Some schools may not have been as harsh, or maybe not have reported because this was kind of something that you guys decided to do. Are you really happy with the way you guys have handled this?
I'm feeling I feel that the board took this seriously. They interviewed each player extensively, so it's safe to say that the board hearing went 12 hours. So they wanted to know every detail, and they wanted to hear the student's story. They allowed each student to say what have they learned from this, what do they want to do to move on, what do they think should happen, and then they deliberated another few hours to say, how do we do this so it's not punishment, but really helping the students learn from this experience. And so I'm feeling that we have to regroup now and move forward. I think the coaches are in that place, and I suspect the students and the families will be there if they're not already.
Can you elaborate a little more on the importance of a life lesson here versus playing the game? How important is that life lesson?
Exactly. Campuses across the country are dealing with alcohol. And I think that in this country, that our young students are still struggling to understand the extreme dangers that happen with underage drinking, with the overconsumption. And so we as a school just feel like we have to use this as a learning opportunity for the players. And so while basketball is hugely important and it's a huge part of their lives, it's just more important that they understand what can happen with potential of overconsumption.
From the email that we got, that said that they can still practice and do stuff like that. Is it the whole team can still practice, or the players that got in trouble, can they still practice?
And we want everybody to practice because we need them and hope. We want them and hope that they come back together as a team. That they're not split over this. That they're supporting one another. They're caring for one another. That all that continues to happen, and that the coach will help them move forward, but at the same time make a statement about the importance of following rules and regulations, and quite frankly, our values as an institution.
Is there a specific number? You said it's not the whole team, but do you have a specific number of how many players involved?
I do. The reason I'm not going to say this is because some were involved heavily, some were involved a little bit less, some weren't there at all. So it would be almost unfair to say any kind of number that would make sense just by using a number.
Was this on campus, off campus?
The incident happened on campus. Yes.
So one of the dorms.
So we have multiple living situations, and so it was in a number of places over the course of an evening.
How does the 10 games get decided? Is that in the policy guidelines that you decide on 10 games that this program would be suspended?
No, the board actually thought what would be appropriate is from now through break, starting immediately, and then once the semester starts up again, that the team's ready to go and start playing.
Okay, cool. I think that's
Oh,
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.